It's no secret that Disney have been failing when it comes to their entertainment over the last couple of years, and now the real numbers have been exposed when it comes to how badly they're failing, and let's just say it's even worse than we thought.
This is gonna be fun.
As it's been revealed that over the last year, Disney has lost nearly $3 billion when it comes to their streaming service. And why is it that people don't watch Disney Plus or subscribe or worse, cancel their membership? Because the stories they offer just aren't good.
It confirms the worst. Somehow Palpatine returned.
And it really is quite fitting that their latest controversy is Star Wars, as it was the Rey Star Wars effect that has led to billions of dollars in losses for Disney, and the sheer implosion of their company and their streaming platform. Because when we dial it back to 2015, when the first Rey Star Wars film was released, there were no real chinks in the armor at Disney. Sure, not every movie was absolutely amazing and critically acclaimed, but on average they were pretty darn good and, most importantly, very entertaining. And it seemed that at this point Disney could really do no wrong, especially when it did come to their big franchises like the MCU, and many people expected Star Wars to be a lot similar to the MCU and be an absolute success for the company. And so if their streaming platform launched back in 2015, they would have absolutely killed it, especially with the amazing films that were still yet to come from Disney, Marvel, and Pixar between the years of 2015 up until early 2020. And so the formula for a successful streaming service appears pretty simple: entertain and have no controversy. And that's why Netflix are absolutely killing it.
No one cares about movies anymore. No one goes to the cinema. No one really watches network TV. Everyone's watching Netflix. This show should just be me coming out going, well done Netflix, you win everything, good night. But no.
And it's not like Netflix avoid political or sensitive cultural issues, but they don't get blowback because they do it from a place of story first and entertainment first. And then when they do mess up, like their absolute joke of a documentary in Cleopatra, they just simply learn from the backlash and move on. Which is what leads us back to Disney and their Star Wars mistake, because it was after the Rey Star Wars trilogy got demolished online, they doubled down on attacking the fans back and accusing them of bigotry and toxic fandom. Which is the exact opposite of what a successful company like Netflix do, and that's why Disney are failing in the streaming service department, because no one's going to want to support your platform and your company if they don't get any support from you, and if they also feel like they don't matter. And Disney's attitude and method of just attacking the fans whenever any of their stories failed only further accentuated the hate and the backlash, really turning audiences away from the once family-friendly, entertaining company.
What is your problem with Disney?
Well, right now with everything. I thought, as a parent, I had kids that I would be able to put in front of the television watching a Disney movie while I was doing some work or while I was doing something else, and I thought, they're perfectly safe with Disney movies. Come to find out, they're not safe.
And then not only did they do this with Rey Star Wars, but they followed the same formula when it came to the MCU. As the movies started dropping in quality, and when the fans voiced their concern and voiced their opinion of these films, they then doubled down on the hate of the MCU fans as well, following the exact same formula as Star Wars, without realizing that that would be the end of their company entirely. Because it was ever since Disney started attacking the fans back when it came to the MCU that the company really took a massive nosedive, and we've really seen their fall in their quality and, most importantly, their box office results. So really, when you look at the amount of money they're losing on their streaming platform, all roads lead back to Star Wars, which was really the catalyst in what resulted in Disney failing this badly. And that's not the only issue when it comes to Disney Star Wars, because there's another issue here, which is that Disney have become too obsessed with their two big franchises, and they can't seem to give them up, and most importantly, they can't seem to diversify in the stories they tell. Because I'm sure back in 2015, when Disney first launched their Star Wars project, they thought it would go down the exact same way it did with Marvel, where they purchased the rights to numerous numerous Marvel movies, started telling those stories, and started making bank. And I'm sure they expected the exact same thing to happen with Star Wars, but due to the storytelling quality being so low, and the obvious pandering when it did come to the story, it absolutely failed. And even though they continue to fail with basically every single project, they just can't seem to get it out of their heads, and they just keep following the same road, which leads to no other place but absolute failure.
Have you read the papers? Do you know what everybody says? It's suicide!
Whereas once again, when you look at a company that succeeds like Netflix, they have their own original films and series, but they also got into sports with shows like Breakpoint or Drive to Survive, and they offer comedy specials as well, which really rounds out the platform and offers balance entertainment-wise, but also socially and politically. I mean, they have Hannah Gadsby and Dave Chappelle on the same platform, and if that's not balance, I don't know what is.
You must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny.
Whereas Disney refused that balance and refused to diversify in what they offer, and like I said, continue to beat down the same two franchises, even though they are both well and truly dead at this point. And what's insane here is that all they have to do is look at how successful their Ed Sheeran documentary or Billie Eilish documentary was, and see that through offering balanced entertainment and really rounding out your streaming platform, you're going to grow in subscribers because you simply reach a bigger target audience. Whereas when you focus in on two target audiences, one for the MCU and one for Star Wars, and then fail in delivering what those two audience bases want, of course they're going to turn away. And because you put no focus into growing your audience base into other avenues, you have no one else that's coming to the platform that's looking to support your company, because they can just turn to other platforms like Netflix and get much better entertainment, much better stories, and most importantly, get a lot more balance. And so at the end of the day, all the failure at Disney comes right back to Star Wars, and even though that franchise has been the death of Disney, they're once again returning to it, making another Rey Star Wars film. But to end the video on a more positive note, I do have to commend Daisy Ridley for saying this.
I mean, I just have to ask, because there are some of the, I'd say, extreme Star Wars fans who have made this a conversation on the internet about how they don't want a female director. Which seems bizarre because episodes of The Mandalorian were directed by females. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy has been overseeing all of this. So, you know, what is your take on that?
I think my take is things get blown out of proportion. And the interactions I've ever had with people have been nothing but wonderful and supportive. So I've only ever been embraced. And I think we're going to make a great film and people will love it.
Because it was about time someone stood up for the fans, and I've got to say, you've earned a supporter in me, just not for your Star Wars movie. But what are your thoughts on Disney losing this much money last year on their streaming service? Let me know down below in the comments. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on my next video.